All right, grab your beverage of choice, and today's subject might be a little heartfelt for some of us who have gone through it, okay? All aboard. Hydration station. We might need to hydrate extra because it might bring up some insomnia for situations you've been through, okay? I hope you're having a good day though before we start. Cheers. We're talking about toxic friends and friendship breakups, okay? I hate to say it, but also I don't hate to say it. But I think friendship breakups I can't say they're worse than romantic ones, but they're very different. Very different types of heartbreak and probably equally as awful. Awful! Friendship breakups are devastating. Makes me sad even thinking about it. But we're talking about it today. Some toxic friends. Sometimes you gotta do a little snip them out of your life. Public service announcement. You might now hear some drilling in this video because apparently there's construction in my building without any warning, and you might hear it and there's nothing I can do about it, okay? So if you hear it, I apologize. I had a best friend that I met during nursing school. She used to hang out with me all the time and sometimes my ex-fiance. She was spoiled and entitled but still mourning as she lost her father a few years prior. She was clingy, copied off whatever I did, and then decided to sleep with my cousin. He had a girlfriend because she had a crush on him, despite my protests to both of them. It sent red flags up, but I was still friends with her. The last nursing semester of our first year approached and it was really difficult. I studied like wild, but she waited until the last minute to study. She told everyone she was failing because her father just passed away. She ended up failing out of nursing school that semester and blamed me. We stopped talking as I, quote, should have made sure she passed. I don't think so. She ended up reaching out to my fiance. He met up with her behind my back and they hooked up. Oh, shut up. My ex randomly broke up with me, saying we were too different after 5 years, and not even a week later, they were dating. I was betrayed by both of them 1000%. Karma got them though because they broke up 3 months later and he texted me the day they split to beg me to get back together. Hell no. Hell no is right. And she struggled to find a relationship and get into another nursing school program. As for me, I met my husband a few weeks randomly after my ex and I split. We've been together now for 7 years, married with 2 kids. Oh, and I'm a successful critical cardiac RN. Snaps and claps for you, girlfriend. Good for you. Good for you. Walk away with grace. Wish you both the best. Absolutely not. You're not in my life. I'll be over here succeeding on the other side. We had been best friends for over 15 years. Best friends. My father had been sick for about 6 years and subsequently, passed away. I'm so sorry. That's so sad. The sicker he got, the less I hung out with her and the group of friends we had. Clearly, my priorities had changed. She never called to check in on me, not once. When he passed away, she called and told me we could no longer be friends because I don't have a dad and she can't relate. Okay, haven't spoken to her in 15 years. Well, good riddance. Can't even imagine not being supportive when one of my friends is going through something like that. Oh, I can't relate. What type of human says something like that? Not a very good one. I was friends with this group of girls for almost 10 years. One of them was the de facto leader and I called her my best friend for a while. We were spending the whole weekend together close and planning to share an apartment for our last year of grad school. Well, there was this pattern of her and the rest of the group ostracizing this one girl in our friend group, like getting quiet when she walked in the room, hanging out without her, having a separate group chat, real middle school stuff. Yeah, especially for people who are in grad school. I took part in it too, which was insanely crappy of me and I deeply regret it. But it also meant I recognized it immediately and she started doing it to me. Suddenly she didn't want to move in together and then she never made plans with me to hang out even when I proposed the plans myself. Then she and the rest of the group ignored me for the whole evening at her house. For some context, we were 24 years old at the time. It was never a full out fight and I wasn't sure if what I was seeing was real or if I was being paranoid, so I decided to wait for her to reach out instead. She didn't speak to me at all for a whole year. Not even when I saw on Facebook that she had gotten engaged. It absolutely destroyed me. The worst heartbreak in my entire life. After a lot of pain and healing, I was able to recognize all of her crappy mean girl behavior for what it was, but I was still devastated. I had dreams about talking to her again for months and months, and they weren't even about us reconciling or me putting her in her place. They were just always just me wanting her to recognize that her actions hurt me. I never got that, not in my dreams or real life. This is really sad. Oh, I'm not even laughing. I'm like trying not to cry. Because I just feel your pain. I hate the saying because it's actually very true, and it's like, why does it have to be true?
That is so inconvenient.
But like some of your friendships and relationships are only meant to be seasons of your life. Like to me, I'm like, well, no. Why can't everyone I meet and all my friends be in every season of my life forever? And that's just, unfortunately, now that I'm almost 32, that's just not the reality. I'm lucky that I have a lot of friends who I've been friends with since kindergarten, but I've also lost some along the way, and it's like, oh, that really sucks. I really wanted them there through every part of life. When I was about 22, 23, my BFF and I both ended our friendship with our third musketeer. Anytime we went out, she'd ask us over first to see what we were wearing, so her outfit wasn't to be outdone by anyone. Ew. Could never be friends with someone like that. She'd also tell us when we looked absolutely horrible in something, how wonderful we looked. But if something was super flattering, it would be met with a, I really don't think you should wear that. It doesn't look great. Jealous. The final straw was her chasing after two guys I was starting to see. One when we were 21, and the next was a year later when we were fed up with her. I thought you meant two at the same time. She was untrustworthy and only ever looking out for herself. She now has a gaggle. A gaggle? What the hell is a gaggle of super fake girlfriends? I was just about to say, we probably all can think back to high school. And there's a girl we're like, I know exactly what you mean. I know exactly what you're talking about. At the start of COVID-19, I found out my previous best friend's, I will call her B, dad, had terminal cancer and would most likely not make it. Oh. During the time he was sick, I did everything I could for her, such as bringing in weekly dinners, making daily phone calls, and on multiple occasions, I would cancel plans if she said that she needed to just see me. After her dad passed away, B started to pull away from me. She would make rude comments towards my own dad and make fun of my sister verbally. When I saw her over the last summer, she would tell me about all of the time she hung out with my old friend group, but claimed I wasn't invited because of the others. The final straw for me is when she threw a get-together homecoming party because homecoming was canceled and invited my entire friend group, but told the others to not invite me. I found out about this from one of my friends that went to her party, and there was a video of her bad-mouthing me and telling people how horrible of a person I had been. When I found out about this, I just stopped reaching out to her. She never reached out to me again either. That's really sad. I'm a little confused as to what she feels you did to her though. I feel like maybe she took some things out on you that actually had nothing to do with you. When I was 14, I had a best friend. Let's call her Olivia. The best thing I can say to describe her is that she was a golden girl. Then when we became best friends, I started to realize how manipulative she was. She would pit all of her friends against each other and make us fight for her just so she could be the center of attention. Not only this, but she constantly made us feel isolated and alone. Eventually, she went too far by spreading fake rumors about her best friend. She also tried to attack another friend and constantly blackmailed others, going so far as to blackmail a boy into dating her. When I heard the nasty rumors that she spread and talked to the boy she was blackmailing, I instantly started distancing myself from her. She was blackmailing him with the knowledge that he had been admitted into a hospital because of a, I can't say the word, attempt. I told her that I knew what she had done and that I wouldn't be part of it. That's disgusting behavior on her end. I helped get the boy free from the blackmail. He was super sweet and deserved better, and I started to find my own way and find a new friend group that helped support me and helped me break my habits of going to Olivia. 14 years old? That is so dramatic. All of that. That's a lot. You know what though, when I think back to 14, all the drama was that. Rumors and she said and he said and boys and oh God, all the drama that girls had like when I was in grade school. I think Olivia's gonna grow up and regret that. I truthfully do. In college, I had two best friends. We call them Sarah and Mary. The three of us were inseparable, even all worked together at the campus gym. However, Sarah started to get really into the popularity contest that is college life. She started becoming a huge gossip and got herself involved in other people's drama on a regular basis. One summer, Sarah and Mary traveled to Europe for a month. Some drama happened on that trip and Mary ended up coming home early. Mary didn't say anything to anyone about what happened, just that they had a falling out. Sarah, on the other hand, wasted no time bashing Mary, telling everyone she was a monster and referring to her only as Satan. She succeeded in turning everyone against Mary and making her life very difficult. I was stuck in the middle. I had been hoping that they would reconcile. Mary never asked me to pick sides, but Sarah demanded I publicly take her side. Yeah, no. When I hesitated to do that, she took it as a declaration of war and went to work bashing me to pieces too. So Mary and I continued our friendship with no drama to this day, while Sarah began to sink in her own ship by pulling this crap over and over with more and more people. By the end of the school year, no one trusted Sarah anymore. Mary even got a few apologies. Okay. Sarah broke our hearts, but she had clearly become a toxic person. Yep, some people do. Some people get so wrapped up in their toxic ways, they can't even see it. And there's no point even trying to make them see it because your words aren't going to mean anything to them. They got to get through that on their own. They got to grow as an individual. They got to get out on the other side, look back and be like, ooh, I wasn't a good person then. I can say that about things I've done in my life. I'm like, you could have reacted better. You could have handled that situation better, girl. You got to work on that. My attitude, for one. Constantly trying to work on that. I swear I am. I had a miscarriage after years of infertility. I'm sorry. And my so-called friends told me that I was better off and that it was all part of God's plan and that I shouldn't be with my husband because he doesn't make me happy and is controlling. It was girls' night. Oh, they just poured their unsolicited advice at you. I got up and walked out and never spoke to them again. My husband and I now have a 2-year-old son. Yay! And I'm due anytime now with our daughter. I couldn't be happier. Oh, that makes me so happy. That makes me so happy. I don't want kids, but let me tell you, anytime someone posts a video of them finding out they're pregnant or their birthing video or story, I cry every time I see it. Even though I don't want that for myself, I'm like, that is the most beautiful thing because I think becoming a mother would be so special and beautiful. Parents in general. I could cry just thinking about it right now. That makes me so happy. I broke off the friendship when I realized how emotionally manipulative she was. She would give me the silent treatment, ignoring my messages for weeks at a time if I said no to doing her a favor, would call me and talk at me for up to 3 hours at a time. If I tried talking to her about any of the issues I had with our friendship, she would tell me she was crying her eyes out as I made her feel like such a bad friend. So I felt trapped in the cycle for fear of upsetting her. I did try talking to her about it as a last-ditch attempt to save the friendship, but all I got out was that I found it difficult talking to her about my concerns due to her reactions before she straight away did the usual of telling me she was crying her eyes out as I was making her feel like such a bad friend. So I told her straight that her saying stuff like that makes me feel like I can't talk to her about deeper issues for fear of upsetting her, and straight away I got the silent treatment again. No response whatsoever. So that was it for me. I let that friendship go and felt lighter after it. Yeah, there's nothing worse than that, right? I feel like that happens a lot in relationships where you're telling someone about how they hurt you and suddenly they're upset because you're telling them that they hurt you, and then it's like, well, wait a second, you're trying to invalidate my feelings and make it about you, and I'm just trying to work through this and tell you, hey, what you're doing upsets me. Can we work on it? My college BFF asked me to sit with her while she waited for the results of a pregnancy test. Another friend walked in and gasped? What? Gasped? Was that supposed to say gasped? I think gasped.
Clever girl.
Bestie told them it was mine, but negative, and I let her, thinking she was in a moment of need. In the weeks that followed, she told all our friends, including my ex, that I was actually pregnant and that I had an abortion. All her! I denied it. So she told them I was a chronic liar who was lying about my job, my major, my basketball friends, and the pregnancy. She got a group together to stage an intervention, demanding I acknowledge my lies or leave. Oh my God. So then I walked out on her and the whole group that day. I hadn't lied once, but what was I supposed to do? Show my transcripts and pay stubs to be believed? 6 months later, I met a new group of friends, including my now husband, who are good, kind, funny, and healthy. It turned out great for me. I'm telling you guys, sometimes you gotta snip, you know? You know when they say like trim the fat? They say to do that in relationships and friends group. Like, that's not very nice though. Why is that the saying? Anyways, you gotta trim the negativity in your life, no matter what it is. And that includes family, by the way. That's a whole other story. We won't even get into that, but that should be a video. Maybe I'll do that next. I'm out of here, you guys. Stay classy out there, stay sassy, and I hope you have good friends. But you know what? If you don't, you got a friend in me. You got a friend in me. You got a friend in me. Anyways, bye.